Behind the scenes at Newcastle United, there's a growing sense of quiet but steady anticipation. Something significant is unfolding within the corridors of St. James's Park, and it's not just about player signings or departures. There's a strategic movement underway, a decision that could shape the course of the next season, handled with far more calculation than meets the eye. For the more observant supporter, signs have already begun to appear, but the full picture is still far from revealed. With another UEFA Champions League season approaching, the club faces a challenge off the pitch, maintaining a backroom structure as competitive as the squad on it. This urgency has only intensified following the recent announcement of Paul Mitchell's departure, the Magpies' current sporting director. But what lies behind this change? Why is it happening now? The answer might just surprise you. Stay with me, because what's coming could shake Newcastle's entire strategy. By the way, if you're a Newcastle fan who likes to stay ahead of the news even before the mainstream press breaks it, take a moment to subscribe to this channel. Your subscription is crucial for us to keep delivering exclusive, direct, and credible content. When you subscribe, you help keep alive the passionate network of Newcastle supporters around the world. Back to the matter at hand. Paul Mitchell took on the role of sporting director at Newcastle in July 2024, and has since been a key figure in several important moves. He led negotiations that brought in Odysseus Vlachodimos, William Osula, John Ruddy, and Lloyd Kelly, the latter already transferred to Juventus despite his short tenure. Mitchell left his mark on the club, even though some targets, like the signing of Mark Guehi, narrowly slipped away. But did Newcastle really have no plan B? Or was all this part of a carefully rehearsed script? And now, finally, we've reached the point you've been waiting for. The name Dougie Freedman has resurfaced strongly behind the scenes at Newcastle United, and it's no coincidence. In March this year, the then sporting director of Crystal Palace suddenly left his post to take up a role at Al Diriyah, a club in the Saudi second division. At first glance, the move seemed odd, but on closer inspection, everything begins to make sense. Al Diriyah is owned by the same group that holds 80% of Newcastle, the public investment fund PIF of Saudi Arabia. This direct link between Freedman and the PIF completely changes the picture. The abrupt departure of the Crystal Palace executive may have been a strategic move to facilitate his future arrival at Newcastle. This way, the club might have already found Mitchell's replacement even before officially announcing his exit. All done behind closed doors, discreetly, as a high-level negotiation demands. This move also allows the PIF to keep one of the Premier League's most valued professionals within its structure. Without the costs and conflicts of an immediate direct appointment, Freedman is widely recognized as one of the most skilled recruiters in the English top flight. During his time at Crystal Palace, he was responsible for identifying and signing talents like Eber Rekies, Mark Guehi, and Adam Wharton, all for relatively low fees that rapidly increased in value. This demonstrates not only his long-term vision but also his ability to operate in undervalued markets, traits that perfectly match Newcastle's business model under the PIF's leadership. If you're enjoying this kind of content that goes beyond what the newspapers say, leave a like on this video and share it with fellow supporters. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button now. Not only will you stay up to date with everything about Newcastle, but you'll also help strengthen this community that grows every day. Back to Mark G's name, who is closely linked to Freedman and is once again appearing in Newcastle's plans this summer transfer window. According to the Evening Standard, the club remains interested in the defender and views a fresh approach positively now that Guehi is entering the final year of his Crystal Palace contract, with no renewal agreement in sight. Palace faces pressure to sell or risk losing a £50 million asset for free in the future. It's worth remembering that Mitchell tried to sign him last year, but all proposals were rejected by the London club. Alan Shearer himself harshly criticized how the negotiation was handled at the time, calling the failure shameful. Now, with Freedman's potential arrival, who was directly responsible for Guehi's signing at Palace, the situation could change dramatically. This personal connection between the two might be the key for Newcastle to finally secure this much-desired defensive reinforcement. What's particularly interesting is that even if Freedman doesn't officially take the role of sporting director at Newcastle, he could work behind the scenes as a top-level advisor directly assisting with transfer dealings. This would give the club a significant advantage in the European landscape, especially with the pressure coming from the Champions League campaign. It's no coincidence that the PIF is betting on this silent strategy, keeping sporting intelligence centralized and aligned across its clubs worldwide. And before I continue, if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. It costs nothing, takes less than 5 seconds, and helps this channel a lot to keep bringing exclusive content about Newcastle's behind the scenes. And if you're already subscribed, comment below. Do you think Dougie Freedman is the right man to take charge of the Magpies' sporting planning? Freedman's possible arrival, or at least his indirect involvement at the club, could also open doors for other talented Crystal Palace players who have yet to attract the interest of the big clubs. Players like Adam Wharton, for example, are already turning heads with their midfield versatility and could fit well into Eddie Howe's style of play. Additionally, ES remains one of the league's brightest rising stars. and his rising value makes any move even more delicate and strategic. Another point worth highlighting is the synergy Newcastle needs to establish between its sporting planning and the PIF's commercial ambitions. The goal isn't just to win on the pitch, but to transform the club into a global benchmark in sports management. The maneuver involving Freedman may be a glimpse of how the Saudi group intends to centralize management talent across its club network. And, by all indications, Newcastle will be the big beneficiary in this equation. Reliable sources like HITC Football and the Evening Standard support all this information and fuel the rumors even further. Nothing here is mere speculation. We're talking real strategies, moves with solid foundations that connect to the club's current reality and near future. Newcastle isn't improvising. They're planning. If you've made it this far, it's because you truly care about Newcastle and want to know what's happening behind the scenes. So take this moment to subscribe, because we'll keep following this story closely. The next few weeks promise to be intense, and those subscribed here will get all the news firsthand. With the European summer approaching and the transfer window about to open, Newcastle seems to be preparing for a chess move, one that could change the game. With Freedman on the radar, Guehi in their sights, and the Champions League knocking at the door, the Magpies have a unique opportunity to establish themselves among Europe's elite. The question now is, will the club make the right move? Stay tuned to this channel, because any news or official confirmation about Dougie Freedman, Guehi, or any other major signing, you'll find out here. And you know the drill. If you liked this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, share it with other fans, and together let's strengthen this passionate Newcastle United support. So, what do you think about all this? Could this behind-the-scenes movement take Newcastle to a new level? Leave your opinion in the comments. See you in the next video.